Okay, so we are on the third and last video tutorial for making our animation of Langston Hughes' poem Democracy. We just finished the third stanza. We're going to need two things to change at the beginning of our fourth stanza. First of all, our background needs to change, and secondly, our narrator needs to grow in size. So before I do anything, I need to broadcast a message saying the third stanza is done. So I'm going to broadcast a new message, and we're going to call it third stanza. Now, just like before, to make our backdrop change, click the stage, go to backdrops, and we're going to add our third and final backdrop. Choose backdrop from library, and the backdrop we're going to use is called bench with view. So I hit OK, and now that backdrop is available. If I come back to my scripts for my stage or background, I'm now going to listen for that third stanza. When I receive third stanza, and just like before up here, we're going to switch backdrops again. So looks, switch backdrop to bench with view. Our narrator also needs to change size, which is going to be available under looks. Now we just want to change the size once. We don't actually want to make it look like he's growing. We just want him to become larger. So instead of using change size, which you would use most likely inside of a repeat loop, we're just going to set size to 150%, which will be larger than the original or default size of this costume. Once the size has been set, I need to say the lines of the fourth stanza. And now in the actual poem, I believe this is broken up in 4 lines. We've set it into 2. So we're going to say these lines of the fourth stanza. After these 2 lines are done is our last change. We need our narrator to shrink back down and move up, which is going to give the effect of our narrator moving back into the image. I want this to look like it's changing over time. I want to see the narrator move back. So I'm going to put this inside of a repeat loop so it'll gradually change. So I come to Control, and I'm going to grab my block that says repeat 10 times. And repeat 10 times should be fine. So I'm going to drag this out and put it underneath those 2 lines. The backdrop nor any other sprite is changing, so I don't need to broadcast anything. I just need to put the change in my narrator. So inside of this repeat 10 times, I need 2 blocks. I need one block that moves my sprite up. So instead of moving, I'm just going to change the Y position. Remember, the Y axis is the vertical or up and down axis. So I'm going to change Y by 10. And that's going to happen 10 times. So 10 times 10 means my narrator is going to move up 100 pixels. Now, as he's moving up, I want him to get smaller. That's what creates the effect of looking like he's moving back into the image. So after I change, or inside of this repeat loop, I'm going to go to looks. And instead of set size, we're now going to use that change size block. But I don't want the size to get larger, I want it to get smaller. So I need to change it by a negative value, which will decrease the size. And I'm going to change the size by -5. A little bit of math, 10 times -5 will be -50. If you recall up here, we set the size to 150, so that's just going to subtract that extra 50 there and return our narrator back to 100%. Once the size has been changed, all I need to do is attach the last 3 lines of my poem. And now all of my code is complete. You can go ahead and hit play and watch your entire animation.